Everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm playing catch up today. So you're going to notice that my next four reviews are all filmed together, wearing the same outfit, because I'm trying to catch up from one of the films I saw last weekend and last week, and then the two films that I got to see this weekend. And one of the films that I did see last weekend that I haven't got a chance to review yet is Power Rangers. And I grew up watching Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, saw the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, watched it recently, realized how terrible it is, and I was going in very skeptical that this was going to be good because it's like saw the trailers, they didn't blow me away, and I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. And I was pleasantly surprised about how much I like this movie. And a lot of that goes down to Dean Israelite, who directed this film. And it's not the most complex story, but I feel like they handle all these kids coming together, building a relationship. You getting the background on the Rangers and everything. It was a very well done origin story. And that's what this is. It's an origin story. And this is not a spoiler. I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. Don't expect to see a whole lot of the Rangers being Rangers in their suits or in their Zord because you're not going to get that. This is very much an origin story and you get a lot of character. And I love that though about this film. And the pacing lags a little bit because in a three-act structure of a film, you expect the setup, the build, the climax. The introduction and the climax are very small. There's a lot of in between building time, and some of it could have been trimmed because this is a little over 2 hours, and I felt like they could have condensed some things a bit in the middle. But overall, I never felt bored, which is a good thing. And my biggest problems with, from a directing perspective, was there's a unevenness in the tone in this film. There's supposed to be this grounded feel with everything else, to be perfectly honest, except for Rita Repulsa. She felt straight out of the original Power Rangers cartoon in terms of over the topness, but she was frightening. There were some sequences with her in it that were borderline like thriller horror type sequences, and they didn't really fit with the rest of the tone of the film, which had that grounded chronicle feel to it. So that's my biggest gripe in terms of what Dean Israelite did with this film because he did a really good job. And then going along with that cinematography from Matthew Lloyd, the camera work in this was actually really cool. There were some really cool 360 panning shots and great use of Dutch angles, and this was shot very, very well. The only times that between the directing and the cinematography that really took me out was towards the climax and a little bit in the middle where they really, really rely on the CGI, which doesn't look the greatest. It's solid. Would have been really passable in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s. Now, with so many things coming along in terms of technology, its lack of really big budget might have taken away from that because this was $110 million, which for a person like us, regular people, that's a lot of money. But in terms of making a big budget franchise, that's not exactly the biggest budget. And they could have done better with the CGI, and a lot of CGI shots are muddled and kind of like what the hell's going on, and that bothered me. But as I said before, you don't see a whole lot of that, so it doesn't take you out as much. But it does kind of bring the third act down a little bit. Which now I'm going to talk about the writing, which is John Gatton's, and he does a fantastic job of fleshing out our five Rangers. Three of them really do stand out. Two of them take a little while to flesh out, but you do finally get a sense of them, and they feel like a real group of teenagers with attitudes. And it was really well put together. One of the biggest things that really bothered me was the obnoxious product placement. If you don't feel like getting Krispy Kreme after this movie, I would be shocked. And it really made a big point of it, and it felt really stupid. It kind of felt like it would have been in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but this wasn't made like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so that kind of bothered me. but the wit and the lines and stuff delivered by the Rangers and their interactions with people were actually really good, and I really enjoyed that. And like I said before, trimming down the story in the middle would have been beneficial. And the third act does feel a little anticlimactic, but overall, I was really satisfied with the journey that I got to go on. And the three big standouts acting wise from the Rangers were Dacre Montgomery, who's our Red Ranger, Naomi Scott, who's our Pink Ranger, and R.J. Seiler, who is our Blue Ranger from Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. He was amazing. And what I really liked about the characters in this were they were very diverse in both race and from a developmental standpoint and from a sexual orientation standpoint, and they really made it an all equally inclusive team, and I think that was really important at this point because they very much did that in terms of race and everything with the original Power Rangers throughout the years, and I thought that was really good that they expanded that with these characters. Bryan Cranston was awesome as Zordon. Bill Hader did not annoy me as Alpha 5 because Alpha 5 is annoying, and he did a good job of not making him annoying. The one thing that I'll take out from the acting standpoint is that Elizabeth Banks was in a completely different movie. She worked really well doing what she was supposed to be doing, at least in her head, and what she was told to do, but did not fit with the rest of the movie. If she was in a different kind of over-the-top Power Rangers, she would have been the standout and would have been amazing. This kind of reminds me of Miss Peregrine's that I saw back in September, because Samuel L. Jackson did basically the same thing. They were really, really enjoyable, but you showed up on the wrong set. And from an enjoyment perspective, Rita Repulsa was really enjoyable, but for this film, it felt really uneven. And in terms of music, Brian Tyler did a really good job of doing a score that really fit the film and did a great job of elevating things. And of course, when that theme came on from Power Rangers, I got so excited and fanboying out right now because that was fantastic. Overall, Power Rangers was above average film and a great start to a franchise. I actually can't wait to see what they do next. They set the stage. Let's see what they do now. I give Power Rangers a B minus.